all, we come to the very, very important part of the program. Now we have to listen to the guy himself. Honorable, call him doctor, as Honorable Kuruma has said. He has everything for the party and he knows a lot about the country. May I take the opportunity, accomplish all, to call on our main man of the party, the pen pusher, the thinker, our encyclopedia, to address you. Please pay attention. Ambassador Osman Foday Yansaneh.
APC, Tolongbo. Mr. Chairman and Master of Ceremony, Comrade Sise, Honorable Comrade Balogu Koroma, Minister of Transport and Communication and Aviation, who is also our diaspora coordinator, elections, Madam Binta K. Stevens, Ni Gallo, member of the National Advisory Committee, the chairman of the APC Germany branch, Mr. Ahmed Salim, chairman from Belgium, Mr. Kago, the representative from Holland, Chairman Toure, and members of the APC, Hessen, and MWR, or NRW chapter, women's leader, the Germany branch, Madam Fatmata Bodeka, the chairman of the veterans, Comrade Bangura, Ms. Bangura, representative of Pambul Talk Union, or Pambul Teak Union. I consider this day a very special one for the relationship between the Germany branch and the National Secretariat of the party back home, because this is my first interaction with our diaspora branches since after this historic National Delegates Conference, in which some of us were re-elected, and for which I'm here to bring greetings from His Excellency, the Chairman and leader of our glorious party, and also President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Dr. Osman Foday, and also to take this opportunity to thank you for faithfully participating in the just concluded National Delegate Conference of our party. The National Delegates Conference is the end of a process which started with our visits to the diaspora chapters in Europe, Americas, Canada, China, and in the sub-region of Africa, in which executives of our party were elected or selected based on the existing circumstances. The party also ensured that there was unity at a time when we are engaged in transition. We all know the vicissitudes that attend the delicate process of transition. The history of our country, we had 3 transitions. In 1964, Milton felt not too good to continue to serve his country. He decided, from reports that we know, to hand over power to Dr. Karif Osman. The process was aborted or short-circuited when, on the 27th of April, he gave a brilliant speech in which he said he was not too ill, but that he was in fact as fit as a fiddle. The following day, he died mysteriously. And since then, the SLPP was plunged in an irreversible turmoil. We also had 1985, when the founder of our party thought it fit to leave power. The existing circumstances in the sub-region at that time and the mood in the sub-region was such that all heads of states were either one-party dictators or military rulers. Handing power over to any of his immediate successors might have plunged our country into greater and deeper crises politically. He decided to choose a military man he had groomed over a period of 10 years, which he had served as a member of his cabinet, ministerial status, and handed over power peacefully to Brigadier then General Momo. The latest transition is what we went through, starting with our process of trying in a pacific manner to get our party united at the diaspora level, at the constituency level, where we had 132 constituencies, and we held our convention the single day without any difficulty. We moved to the district level, where 16 districts convened their conventions peacefully, and then 5 regions completed their conventions without let or hindrance. We then had to manage properly the National Delegates Conference. Precedent to that, we had to contend with the rules and regulations that will govern the process of electing or selecting. Part of our constitution provided that we could use selection or election, but we had to rationalize and ensure that the process is unified, consolidated. And what did we do? We held a meeting on the 1st of June in which we agreed that due to the existing circumstances, the party cannot afford divisiveness and disunity. We prepared the rules of engagement. We prepared criteria for leadership of for our party at the various levels. We also prepared rules of engagement relating to who qualified to be an aspirant for flag bearership. At the end of the day, we went through the process, through consultation, through dinners, through one-to-one with the chairman or with me, from among those who had aspired that they wanted to be flag bearers of our party. In short, the second highest organ met, and after deliberations, it was decided, one, to ask His Excellency to continue to serve as chairman and leader until after the convention. Until after the convention. It has to be made clear, we did not say for life. Then, we also decided that either not will take the bull by the horn and decide who will be our flag bearer, but at a meeting on the 15th of August, the majority of us, out of 35, 30 people present in that meeting decided that the honors should be left with His Excellency, the Chairman and Leader, to choose somebody. Well, we didn't stop at that. We went to the district level, we went to various constituencies and consulted. But also, we thought that those who had expressed a desire to become aspirants, flag bearers, should be consulted. 3 dinners were convened by His Excellency, and everybody was asked to pour out their grievances, and this happened 3 times. At these dinners presided over by His Excellency himself. The last dinner I presided over. Of the 20+ members, everybody agreed that we should, in fact, leave it to His Excellency to make a choice. And we committed ourselves then in writing that whoever is selected, appointed, endorsed by His Excellency would be a flag bearer for the 2018 election. So it is not strange. We use a pacific process, peaceful, palliative, to ensure that nobody comes out to agree. There is very little rancor, as has happened. The SLPP has not been able to go through their lower level elections. Not of fighting. Well, why do you fight? We are waiting for the fight. When we say fight, in the ballot box, the APC. APC sababu kurabu. APC sababu kurabu. In the ballot box, on that fateful day, we will decide again the future of this great country. All for all, APC to APC. Tolongbo. Let me also talk about the elections. Elections are not won on the day. Precedent to the election, there are certain processes. The population count, on the census, the registration of voters, eligible voters, under the National Elections Commission. Well, in our own case, NEC came out on the 6th with a statement to the effect that they had completed the entire registration process. This was far from the truth. They were supposed to make that announcement on the 6th, which would serve as 6 months to the 7th of March. For 2 reasons. The Public Elections Act, Act number 4 of 2012, clearly spells out that the registration of voters should have been completed 6 months, not later than 6 months to the election. So they were paused. They came and made a big pronouncement. That pronouncement was also dubiously made, in the sense that the figures in words were different from the figures in the numerical ones. So an electoral commission, an elections management body that makes sure fatal mistakes, has to be held to account for it. And they said over 40 plus voters were not accounted for. They were not accounted for. And then you say the elections are over. So they also had a protocol which all West African states have signed, that 6 months to the election, you don't make any changes to the constitution that would affect the elections. So NEC was in that quagmire. We said, we are not going to take them to court. We are going to write a letter, which letter I wrote, questioning the validity of the 6th September announcement by the Chief Electoral Commissioner. They have replied us. Our lawyers are with the document. We are not too satisfied. Unless and until the highest legislative body, which is Parliament, makes amendments and accepts or corrects the errors made by the National Electoral Commission, we may be heading to an election that will end in court. You see what has happened in Kenya. We want to obviate such a situation. We want to obviate the situation that has developed in Liberia. Up to now, we do not have an authentic leadership. Comrades of the APC, at the head of this party, today you have the chairman and leader who has a lot of experience. The leadership of the party know exactly what we want. We are not going to engage in vitriolic attacks on the opposition, but we will not take certain things lying down. The abuse of due process, a man who is called the PRO of the party, rushing to the public broadcaster house, challenging ladies, hitting his opponent, and then the people say that is political. That is not political. It is brigandry of the highest order, a barbaric act that the law should take. And then somebody will lie in front of the police vehicle to be killed. No, we are not going to kill you. But when you do that, you also end in prison. You see, they want to give us a bad name. The NEC, for the last 10 years, APC has no political prisoner. No, we don't. They've abused us. Every day they abuse us. We look at the papers. We don't even know the number of newspapers. We don't know. We have over 100 radio stations in a small country like Sierra Leone. Every day abusing us. Yeah, what did they write about you? What did they talk about you on that radio? I said, I know it. The one day they make us sleep. Because they bring all sorts of stories, lies. Lies get power, but you know they last. The truth, crushed to the ground, it will rise up. And that is what the APC has. We have in our favor the socio-economic development we have embarked upon. And the people in the East do know that. The people in the South do know that. The people in the North and the Western area of our country know that the APC has changed their lives when we took over power in 2007. Precedent to that, they all knew exactly that we had only 6 megawatts of light in Kenema, Bo, and Freetown. 6 megawatts. They all knew that roads were impassable. You cannot go to Kailahun, you cannot go to Sigwema, you cannot go to Kono, etc., etc. And these roads were 20 years earlier developed by Sheikh Stevens under the APC. The SNPP had 11 years of leadership. We gave them 10. They said the war is not over. They want 1 more year. 6 and then 6. But they thought we also want more time. We didn't want more time. If we had wanted more time, we would have done that. So we didn't. And the bogus man called South, Sumana, is talking in America, telling the world that he decided not to accept the president's urge for more time. That is why he was cashed out. When we removed him from the party and he was kicked out of governance, he never said that. These are the type of people. The man had been head of man, we make a running mate. Running mate. With all the promises he had, who he thought would support him. Since the day he became vice president, he had thought of nothing other than to grab power. The man is talking that he's not corrupt. The man is saying that he is civilized. The day we took power, his first progressive step was to humiliate all the paramount chiefs. He made them the dog and wrong. Then the next step was to go to the former vice president's house and remove all his vehicles. We told him, take back these vehicles. This man is entitled. One SNPP has said, don't do that. The law is clear. The SNPP did not do that for APC. They did not allow Momo to take anything. I say APC and SNPP are different. So, this is the man who would not give up these vehicles. President spoke to him, and the President said, please, Yansaneh, go and talk to him. He is your son. I went to him. Logus was working with him. I say, you know what, you know, say sometimes you do the inside there, Motokawe. No, I don't want again. He returned it. That's the thing. Well, he didn't stop there. We were asked to get 6 vehicles, top of the range, Land Cruisers. The following day, he got 3 companies, all 9 getting. We went to road transport. These companies bid it, and one of them got it. They didn't go anywhere. We were expecting them to go to Accra or Dakar. They went to Conakry, took 4 low-quality new Land Cruisers and 2 old ones. They brought them to Freetown, sprayed them. It was during the period of spraying them that we discovered that he had done that. And the next thing was, he begged and begged. He said, let me to so forgive power. You don't get this money, billions. That time there was over 2.something billion from rotten vehicles. That was the start of this thing. But you see, some of us, it's not that we don't want to become president, but you don't have to be greedy. If Ernest comes from my district, why should I fight to become vice president? Why should I even fight to become minister? It was I in 2002 under the district block system that signed everybody's document. I said I'm not going back home to Kamakwe, so I gave the position to my sister in fulfillment of the commitment we had made. Our commitment was that we were going to provide gender. You see, not that we didn't want this position, just like the recent urge for people to become president. We could have applied, but you take into consideration this is a man who, on that Timbergate, was caught selling the timber. Huge tons of timber are still lying, decimating our forests. He did that. He could have been sacked by the president. He could even have been locked up. The president did not do that. But when he became very dangerous, having 102 cliques, that clique where these are dangerous boys who are dropped permanently, he had them in Kono. I hold no brief of a minister like Musa Tarawali, but he organized these cliques to attack him. Anybody who goes to Kono, you are in danger if you are not in some Sumana's good books. 3 ministers were nearly lynched by him. He had a guy called Adamu or Adumu, a dangerous character, who would fight the police. 3 times that man was caught in activities during the Ebola, in which he defied. In fact, these are the people who spread the Ebola. His mother suffered from Ebola and refused to let her be treated. And then he would go and tell the whole world, when he was quarantined, that the president had done this against him. The second time, the president had removed his name. I was with the president till 1 o'clock, begging him, and he accepted him. Well, as soon as that happened, as soon as he became vice president for the second time, he was on the rampage. We don't want to go too much. He will meet us in Freetown. He's gone to court. We are a sovereign country. A sovereign country, an independent sovereign country. We have our protocols that we will sign with ECOWAS and other international organizations, but our sovereignty, we are not going to sell for anybody. The opposition people are ready to create mayhem, but we are ready for them. What do we know? We know that we have the majesty of the state backing us. We have the majesty of the state backing us. And we'll only take action. We'll only take action as and when it becomes necessary. In 2013, His Excellency decided that the diaspora should constitute another region. But this was not actualized. This year, we say it is not going to be the 5th region, but the 6th, because by law, we now have 5 regions. Representatives of the diaspora from the various branches converged in Freetown to participate in the National Delegates Conference. What did they do? They said they were going to get an executive elected at that point. That is not correct. You come back to your various branches. We are arranging that maybe at the end of December, we hold a conference where representatives from the various paid-up regions, paid-up branches, will go to Freetown and decide to constitute what we will call the 6th region. It has implications. It means, one, you cannot be a chairman of a branch and say you are going to become a regional chairman. No, our constitution does not allow that. Also, you cannot, if you have the 6th region, we are going to get them involved in NAC, the National Advisory Committee. The National Advisory Committee, the second highest organ of the party. So, but we have to sit together and work out the mechanism, the modalities that will take us and put the region on the same pedestal as the other 5 regions in Sierra Leone. Let me also answer the question of who is a veteran, Mr. Bangura asked. When we normally talk about veterans, we talk about war heroes, those who have participated in war and are now retired from the army or from the police, as the case may be. But we can also say this is a veteran politician, like Mr. Bangura. When you are a veteran politician, you are knowledgeable, you have a lot of knowledge, you have a lot of savvy in the operations of the institution. In this case, the institution we call the All People's Congress Party. So that is the definition. On the 25th of this month, we're going to start retrieving cards. That is, voter cards. Very, very important. The voter card is not intended for the elections alone. It also serves as a passport. And it is also a document that will consolidate within it the need. There will be no need for birth certificate any longer because it has incorporated birth certificate. If you want to get a passport, it serves as a passport, etc., etc. So those cards have to be retrieved. We have put in a word. How about those who are outside Sierra Leone? One, you call them to come and register. They paid. Now, you call them to come and participate in the exhibition. You never exhibited this in 5 days, and it ended. What will happen? I held a meeting with the Chief Electoral Commissioner a few days ago, and they told us they have 3,155,000 registered voters without any problem. But then they have 23,000 voters that are not, that do not have photographs, but that these photographs will be made available on the day of election. What's the confusion down there? We're not allowed that. We're not allowed that. As soon as you go, you photo no day, therefore try to get that photo day before you left. We don't tell them, they walk out that mechanism. You see, they want to create this situation where they will relax, things go constitutionally out of the way, and then they blame us. We are going to continue, we'll get the machinery in place to get as many of our cards. You see, we have to work hard, and we will work hard. The tactics they have is simple. If we go, we must not relax APC. We cannot assume and be complacent. In Freetown, we have the majority over the SLPD, but it is something around 40% for them, 60% for us. So we cannot joke with that. And in the southeast, northwest equation, they are ahead of us. They are ahead of us. So we cannot joke. And you may be here, but you also have relevance back home. You talk to our people. Some of our people find it difficult to move. And these people are going to make it impossible for them. they will go and they will tell them the name no day and go home back. Please tell them to insist. Tell them to insist. That is why our campaign will be, that is from house to house, as somebody mentioned, starting with these voter cards, house to house. That's why the chairman, the Youth League president, by Mahmoud, did not come. They are holding meetings all over the country now, together with the women's leader. And I'm under instructions by His Excellency the President to meet the flag bearer tomorrow and make sure he goes back to Freetown the following day, so that we'll start our provincial tours. We send messages of apology for the inability of both the flag bearer and his running mate to come. The running mate could not come because ECOWAS, where he was as a member of the ECOWAS Parliament, has scheduled tomorrow, or today. He should have been gone to Abuja to take leave of ECOWAS. The Honorable Samura Kamara had to go to Washington to deliver a paper, which he had done, but tomorrow he is now airborne for London, where he will participate in the wedding of his daughter, and then participate in the fundraising that organized by the women of London. They are lucky because he had to be there. So we want to apologize for their inability to come. That is why we three endeavored to ensure that the party makes a presence. I want to thank you very much for making it possible for us to come and have this wonderful night. We know the constraints, like Mr. Smith has said. We know the efforts you have made. We'll take that into consideration and ensure that when positions are being distributed, some of you are here, you want to go back home. But if you go home, you want to be somewhere that will be comfortable. Or safe. Or why? That will ensure we do. We are going to fall a huge elephant. That is what we are going to fell. The beef plenty. All man supposed to get. And we will ensure that all man get. APC. Tolongbo, our hotel, thank you. Let God bless you all.